All right, Meg, I'm really excited. We are back for the first time in a while because the office has been a disaster as they were redoing it. And people have been asking for between two shoes, and I can't think of two shoes I'd rather do a between two shoes of than the Asics Superblast 2 and the Adidas Adizero EVO SL.
Wow, I think you got it.
I did.
It's interesting we're doing the head-to-head here because while there are a lot of similarities, they feel very different.
That's the whole thing I was thinking about. I know it. I mean, let's just talk about why I think people think they want them to be compared. It really comes down to the foam. They're both using premium foams in a daily trainer that one might think they could use for race day or just have more versatility out of, but that's not really the case.
Yeah, so outside of taking the race day foam and putting them into these daily trainers, I feel like they're vastly different. But so let's talk about some of those differences. To start off, $200 versus $150, there's a big difference right there.
I'm gonna say there might be some things that merit that extra $50 price tag. First off, you've got a much more detailed engineered mesh upper in the Asics product. So if you can see it, like there's zones of like breathability. It's got different like weaving to keep you locked in over the midsole. This is a fully thought out engineered upper, whereas we have in the EVO SL more of a simplified upper. It kind of matches the minimalistic design of the EVO Pro, which is a whole different shoe. I don't even want to get into that, but the look and feel of it's different. This one is a pretty simple upper compared to the Asics.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This update from the first version, a lot of what I really enjoyed was this new upper. There's just enough touches where it's more comfortable and it just feels really nice. The other difference is in the midsole stack height. So you get a ton of stack with the Superblast, 45 in the heel, 37 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop, whereas you're only getting 38 millimeters in the heel and 32 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop.
Yeah, and even some more details before we leave the upper. This one doesn't have a gusseted tongue. This one has a fully integrated tongue that's in there. Just like you can see, this is more of a minimal approach to than this shoe. Let's talk about the midsole. On this one, Meg, we've got two premium foams from Asics. You've got the Flight Foam Turbo and the Flight Foam Blast Plus. Got them both sandwiched together. And then when you talk about the EVO 1, what do you got here?
So that is one slab of the Light Strike Pro. This is the same foam that you'll find in the Pro 3. So not the newest version of the race day shoe, the Pro 4, but the previous iteration in the Pro 3. Same exact stuff. And while these are both race day foams, the underfoot feeling is vastly different.
I mean, that's the main point here. When we get down to really the difference between these two shoes, this is a daily trainer that feels really good, feels light on the foot, has that spongy, bouncy feeling from the midsole, but it's not what I would consider something that I would necessarily want to race in. I do think that it is an option for those of you who are going not out for like a sub 3:30 marathon, maybe you're going closer to 4.5 hours. This shoe will do you fine, but the neat thing about the Asics shoe, the Superblast 2, is that it can be used as a race day shoe. And we both ran Tokyo in it, so we know it really performs well over the marathon distance. I think what it comes down to is you can tell there's not a lot of flexibility in this turbo. So even without a plate with this much stack, you still have a firm, responsive shoe with that race day foam that has that like almost like perfect bounce to firmness ratio so that it doesn't feel sluggish. This one, you can see, much more flexible, but doesn't have that rebound that you're gonna get from like a race day feel.
Yeah, and like Thomas said, we both ran a marathon in this, but we do have our friend Charlie who just did Berlin in this shoe. So again, I think both of them could be an option, but I do feel like the Asics shoe gives you more of that race day feel and just a little bit more of that confidence.
Snappy,
for a marathon.
fast.
Yeah.
Like it has that really like lean forward and go with the shoe. For my feelings and what I like, I think that this shoe is something I would definitely consider for even going after a fast marathon. Just the versatility in this shoe exceeds this shoe. But where this one kind of falls, like, this is a great daily trainer. $150. The foam feels amazing underfoot. The simple look is not like revolutionary or anything, but it looks great even when you're not running. So this is like what I would call like a cafe runner, where you can wear it
casually.
Yeah, casually for more stuff. So this is performance.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing this one casually. I'm not going out.
They've got some lifestyle colorways out there that I don't hate.
All right, but are you gonna go with this or this for something that's...
For hanging out, certainly the EVO SL, and I think maybe that was part of the idea behind it. The only other stat we didn't mention here is both of these shoes are extremely light, but the EVO SL is actually lighter, like race day light. My women's 7.5 came in at 6.4 ounces versus my 7.5 in the Asics, which is 7.7 ounces, so about an ounce difference there. Again, this is still like race day light. It's really nice to get a shoe that feels like a daily trainer, but is so light as well.
Yeah, and I think it is kind of confusing to people that are like race day foam, continental rubber outsole, looks sleek, looks like the fastest shoe on the market. Why isn't it race day? And I think it comes down to just without having that plate or the power rods in there, you just have sort of a nice, comfortable, bouncy midsole, but it just doesn't have that aggressive feel.
Yeah, so I think when it comes down to it, it's really hard for me to choose between the two shoes because I just feel like they are different enough that they wouldn't be in the same bucket for me. The Asics Superblast is one of the most versatile shoes on the market. I think you can do every single run in that shoe. You can race in it, you can do a long run, you can do your easy runs, and the EVO SL for me falls more into that daily trainer bucket. I'm not towing the line in this shoe, but I can do a lot of my other runs in it.
I think that's it. This one is the most versatile shoe from daily training up to racing, where this one is a really versatile daily trainer that's great for when you're not even running.
If you had to choose one, what are you going with? It's life or death here.
I like to run. I'm gonna spend more time running than going to the cafe. I love this shoe, absolutely love this shoe. It might be one of my top picks for the year. But if I had to go with a performance shoe and one shoe for running, still gonna be the Superblast 2. It just can do so many things when it's on the feet. Feels great at slower paces, feels great at fast paces. This shoe, if I had one shoe only, like that thing where they send you to an island, you can take 10 albums, but maybe you can only take one shoe. I think I would go with this one. But for $150, I just think this shoe is you can't miss it. And I don't know, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna lean towards the Superblast, even though this one really stole my heart this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, only because when I got up this morning to go out for a run and I didn't have to review a shoe, I picked up the Superblast. So, I'm still loving it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're gonna hate us. Your bank account's gonna hate us. Superblast 200.
EVO SL.
EVO SL 150. Get them both.